Hey guys, welcome back to the lab. Today at the bench, we are working on part 3 of repairing this partially leather bound 1880s volume. So, in this episode, you're going to watch me apply the first spine lining, and you're also going to see how I lift leather. So, as I mentioned in the previous episode, there is a section of this book that doesn't align with the other sections. So, you can see here on the foredge, it sticks out. And you can see here on the spine, it pushes in. So I'm going to take a minute before I apply the first spine lining, and I'm going to see if there is a reason for this. So I flip through the book and get to this section, and there are like pieces of old, I don't know, leather or glue in here. So I push those out because they're clearly in the way. And hopefully with these gone, I can make this section align better with the other sections before I put the first spine lining on. So on the clean spine, I am going to apply a water-soluble adhesive. And then I'm going to apply a long fiber tissue. So the reason for using these two materials is that if in the future somebody wants to remove them, they can actually just pull them off and the tissue will delaminate, much like you saw the first spine lining that I removed in the previous episode. So basically, with enough careful force, these will just peel off. And I use a brush to push the tissue down into the adhesive because I want to make sure that it's very well adhered since it is the first lining. So it needs to be structurally sound. So I come back the next day and pull off the excess and trim any long fibers that are overhanging. So now that the spine has a lining on it, it's more stable. And I'm going to come in with a lifting knife and I'm going to lift the leather that's still adhered to the book. The reason for doing this is so that I can push the new linen lining that I'm going to put on next. I can push it up under that lifted leather. The overhanging linen lining will create a stronger connection between the text block, the spine of that book, and the covers, the front and back covers. So as you might imagine, lifting antique leather is something that needs attention. It's a slow process, so you don't burst through it, basically. This leather is, I've seen worse, but it's still pretty dry, even though it has some flexibility left in it. I won't say the problem. The concern on this book is that the glue attaching that leather to the covers is still in really great shape. And so I am going extra slow because I know that the glue is stronger than the leather. I need to make sure to get up under both of them. So I get to the end of the first board and realize I haven't lifted my turn-ins. So those will have to be lifted before I proceed. So So I cut and lift these turn-ins to provide access for the new material to wrap around the board edge. It is a tidier result and stronger, both. So now that those turn-ins have been cut and lifted, I can continue lifting the leather off the first side with my lifting knife. And as is the theme with this book, I am never not amazed by how impressive the integrity of the adhesive still is between the leather and the board underneath. Finally, I'm lifting the leather on the other cover. So, in the next episode, I will be color matching the new material for the spine so it matches the leather that's already on the boards. And I will also be adding the overhanging linen lining that I talked about earlier in this episode. So, you guys can check that out and show the lab some love by subscribing and leave me any questions you have below. Thanks.